Governor Tim Walz calling lawmakers back for a special session starting Friday.
He's asking them to make some major changes in the wake of George Floyd's death. Political reporter Theo Keith is live outside the Capitol right now. Theo, all right, we want to talk about the special session, but what is going on behind you right now?
Yeah, we're having some breaking news out here on the south lawn of the state capitol. About 150 demonstrators just gathered, and they have just torn down the statue of Christopher Columbus. The statue has been here since 1931. Columbus, of course, has been very much criticized in recent years as people look at his history again as a conqueror and not as an explorer. So these protesters came here to tear down the Christopher Columbus statue, maybe 12 feet tall or so, and just literally 15 seconds before you came to us, the statue did come down. This group of protesters had put two ropes around Columbus's neck. They then backed into the street here outside the Capitol. They tore the statue down. The statue fell onto the sidewalk to a big cheer, as you're hearing here again, cheering. Now, you may be asking about law enforcement response to this. We've seen exactly one state trooper who was out here earlier today urging the group to follow the typical process for getting a statue torn down, which is to petition and work through legal channels. Obviously, this group had no interest in following that, and so they tore the statue down. Now, if Brian, you're listening to me, Brian, photographer, is a group of state troopers that has just left the state capitol building, coming out front here, and presumably they're on the way to deal with this crowd in some way that hadn't happened earlier today. You can see the line of maybe 30 state troopers out there on the state capitol lawn. This is the south lawn. They have gone through the fence of the state capitol that's currently surrounding the capitol. It went up about 2 weeks ago as the National Guard came in to try to protect the Capitol. It's still up, even though the Guard has left. Those state troopers have been in the Capitol ever since. They appear to be dressed with shields and batons, and they're coming this way. I don't know how they're going to deal with the crowd yet. The crowd is not yet leaving. Some of them are taking pictures of the Christopher Columbus statue that is on the sidewalk as the state troopers come over in an attempt to deal with the crowd. The crowd now, I can tell you, has seen the troopers come over this way, and some of them are leaving. Some of them are leaving the Capitol, while several more of them are staying to see what kind of a confrontation this is going to be. Again, as we wait for the state troopers to come over this way, there was only one trooper here earlier telling the people not to tear down the statue. The people did not listen to that. They had no intention of following the normal process for dealing with statues, and so they tied two ropes around Christopher Columbus statue's neck and tore it to the ground as it's on the sidewalk now. The state troopers have stopped. They have not advanced any further. There's probably now 40 yards between the troopers and the people who tore the statue down. And we'll see what kind of a move the state wants to make next. I can tell you again, the state did not make much of a move to prevent this statue from coming down. The state knew of this. This was not a surprise. The Public Safety Commissioner, John Harrington, said earlier today that he knew that there was a threat on social media against the Christopher Columbus statue. He said that the State Patrol would be out here to urge the group not to tear the statue down and to follow the normal channels. There was only one trooper out here making that request to follow the normal channels. The group didn't listen. The statue is on the ground. You can see now the line of probably 40 or so state troopers dressed in their gear. They look ready to do battle, but they have not advanced any further. as perhaps this group is just going to be allowed to do this symbolic act of tearing down the statue. You've got a question. Go ahead.
Theo, yeah, I was just going to ask you, as we're sort of waiting to see how this plays out, did you get a sense of who some of these people are who ended up tearing down that statue?
Well, these are some of them are protesters and demonstrators that we've seen at previous rallies. There have been a number of demonstrations here on the Capitol steps, and they've got obviously here in front of the statue a banner that says "End White Supremacy." So once again,
find out what just
that's
happened
who
there.
These people are.
They just got agreement for something there. Can you ask that fellow what they just were told by the State Patrol, Theo?
Or maybe we can listen in here.
Yeah, let me see if I can work my way
Clearly
around.
was just given some good news.
And so it all worked out perfectly, exactly how we wanted it to. It would have been better.
We're live on Channel 9. Repeat the beginning part of what they just told you.
They said there would be no arrest. They're going to come out. They're going to clean it up. It might take a while. I said we'd like to stay here to film you cleaning him up, and they said that would be no problem.
Have you got any assurance that they're not just going to put it back up?
Oh, they will never put that back up. If they put him up, it should be in a room where they educate people on the foundation of Minnesota and how Minnesota became to be, how this country was formed, and the sick foundation that this country's built on racism, genocide, so much talk about looting, but they looted our land. They stole our land. And so he had to go. He was here for far too long.
And tell us, sir, what group are you with?
I'm the chairman of the AIM Twin Cities, American Indian Movement.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
So there again, the organizer of this protest was just telling us that the State Patrol has assured him there will be no arrests made for tearing the Christopher Columbus statue down off of its pedestal where it has been since 1931, dedicated in 1931 here on the Capitol grounds. He said that this was a Native American protest. Christopher Columbus obviously seen as more of a conqueror than an explorer, as he has been written about in many U.S. history books. But this group obviously thought that this symbolic message was an important one to send here at 5 o'clock. They knew they were going to be on the news doing this, and now you just heard there they've been assured that the State Patrol will make no arrests.
All right, Theo.
I get the feeling there's more to come on this. Certainly people are going to weigh in on this who may not agree with that decision. So this will be interesting to see how this evolves over the course of the next few hours until our later newscasts.
We're going to keep Theo here, and he'll continue to gather some information for us. Producers, do we want to go on to Leah? Okay. All